The degeneracy of the hamlet is nothing, I fear, when compared to the condition of surrounding acres.
Well, you know, having seen what those surrounding acres look like, that isn't really much of accomplishment. Yes, accomplishment. That's something you say to someone when you're praising them for something. It's called paying them accomplishment. Hello, everyone. Science Viking here, and it's time to get back to both Darkest Dungeon and my inability to form words. Alright, the first thing we need to do is get some people in stress treatment. Alright. And... well, not okay, Vissange just needs a drink, apparently. Alright. Oh, Vissange, drink your cares away. Let's see, what do the rest of my heroes look like? Alright. Well, we got some gold to spend. Let's spend it. I actually didn't mean to put him in there. Let's see. Who to upgrade? Well, Bertrand, who has just recently reached Resolve level 3. Let's see, upgrading Plague Grenade would do what exactly? Increase its accuracy and its critical rate. That's really not impressive. Upgrading, oh, it would increase the blight chance. Upgrading Noxious Blast would be pretty similar in terms of what it would do. Let's see, upgrading Battlefield Medicine would increase the amount that it heals. Could also upgrade Incision. I think I'm gonna upgrade Battlefield Medicine, and that'll be it for now. Also, Bowen, I have some plans for you. Let's see what abilities you have. Everything except Revenge, and I can live without Revenge. I'd say you're good. Roared? Same question. Let's see, I want you to know Breakthrough. Right. And Tourneville. Let's see. I think I'm going to upgrade Plague Grenade, Incision, and Battlefield Medicine on you. And who else to use? I think that's enough of upgrading the low-level people. Let's upgrade some of the more experienced people a bit. Let me see. Vavasur. Let me see. Vulnerability Hex, all it really does is reduces the enemy's dodge. Or rather, all upgrading it does is increases how much it reduces the enemy's dodge. Weakening Curse and Sacrificial Stab are the really important ones. And Daemon's Pull. I suppose Abyssal Artillery is pretty good. I can give that a point. So let's see about Emery. Let's upgrade Hound's Harry and Hound's Rush. See, upgrading Target Whistle would increase the amount that it reduces the enemy's prot. I think first I'm going to have him learn Cry Havoc. Well, let's look into upgrading some people's equipment, and I do that by clicking on the guild again immediately. I am a professional. Let's see. Let's upgrade Traley's armor once. And who else? Emery's weapon and armor. Tourneville's armor. Yeah, I do actually have a plan that involves using the inexperienced people. So I'm trying to upgrade them a bit. And one other thing I want to check on, which is what abilities does this vessel have? Let's see. Judgment, Dazzling Light, Divine Grace, and Divine Comfort. I'll just upgrade all of them. Right. Let's see. Sort of all I could upgrade. Upgrading Defender would cause it to grant give it 4 additional % of protection. Yeah, I'm upgrading that. I suppose the last thing I can do is see if anybody... Oh, the treatment ward is already full. Well, let's look into upgrading the sanitarium. I need a lot more busts than I currently have, and I'm not likely to get more anytime soon. As for the Abbey, same problem. And I doubt I could trade for the quantity of busts that I would need. As for the tavern, however, I could upgrade the brothel now, or I can trade things around and upgrade the bar. I think I'm actually going to trade things around and upgrade the bar. So first I'm going to trade 2 deeds for 3 crests, so that I have enough crests. And then I'm going to trade 6 deeds for 2 portraits, so that I have enough portraits. And accidentally click on the wrong button and trade them for crests instead. Once again, because I am a professional. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm completely on top of this. And let's upgrade the bar.
All manner of diversion and dalliance await those who cross the threshold with coin in hand.
And I think I'm going to need Tourneville for something later, and we have a lot of gold. So even though his stress level isn't that high, I'm gonna put him in here anyway for 1 day. Just to reduce his stress effectively down to 0. Let's see if the Nomad Wagon has anything good. Blasphemous Vial I'm actually not that impressed by. Health Stone is pretty good, but I believe we already have a couple of those. We have 1. It wouldn't necessarily be bad to have a second one, though. Since the Health Stone gives a pretty good bonus. It's also looking to upgrading the Nomad Wagon. Not enough crests, and I doubt I have enough deeds to get enough crests. Or call them quests. And the Survivalist has the same problem. However, let's look into learning some camping skills. Alright, let's see about Traley. She has Chant, Wound Care, and Bless. She should really learn Sanctuary. Because I want to get a larger number of heroes that have abilities that prevent nighttime ambushes. They don't happen every time, but they tend to do a lot of damage when they do happen. And Rord has Battle Trance, which just gives her a further advantage if she's in position 1. Revel, which can be very useful, but you need to be careful when using it. Sharpened Spear is quite nice, as is Encourage, and Wound Care. But, you see, Emery already has Hound's Watch. Does Damour have Sanctuary? Yes, she does. I think I'm gonna buy a Health Stone and I'm gonna be done spending money for a little while. Alright, well, let's take on a quest. In case you're wondering what I've been doing, I am hoping to take on the Inchoate Flesh, but we don't quite have the right hero composition for that yet. So I'm actually going to try to level some people up. Let's see, I actually don't really want to cause silence in the crypts. So, I'm going to do a kind of mission to prepare armor. Oh, a haste chalice. That could be interesting, to prepare people for it. Let's see. Healing armlet. Do I already have a healing armlet? So this mission is mainly to try and get some people from up to above resolve level 0. Looks like I don't have a healing armlet. Oh, yes I do. I really don't need 2 of those. So... I think I'll take on the exploration mission in the ruins. So my team is Bowen, who definitely has the right abilities. Actually, I'm going to drop Withstand for Purge. Purge requires him to be in position 1. Never mind, I'm going to stick with Withstand. Bowen, Damour all the way in the back. Emery with Cry Havoc instead of Blackjack in position 3. And Roared all the way in the front. With Wicked Hack, Iron Swan, If It Coughs, and Adrenaline Rush. And let's provision. There are a lot of ways that this can go wrong, and it's my job to try to mitigate those. Okay, I don't need as many shovels because, while I can encounter obstacles, I don't think I can encounter any other curios that have that use shovels as a curio interaction with ruins. So, in the cove, I can encounter barnacle-encrusted chests, and in the Weald, I can trying to say encounter and uncover at the same time. I can encounter shallow graves, both of which use shovels. But in the ruins, the only shovel interaction is an obstacle. And those aren't that common, so I don't need 2 shovels. Once holy idols and shrines have been corrupted to favor pagan gods, holy water can help restore them to their rightful condition. Or, if you're not careful, it can blow up in your face and cause a whole bunch of stress damage.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar.
Right?
Now, foreign.
Not terribly surprising, considering the fact that this is a medium-length mission. But there's gonna be a bit of a hike. Oh, here we go. Let me see. What could possibly be the interaction here? Well, we probably won't need 4 antivenoms, so I've got nothing. I'm really not sure what I could possibly use on an alchemy table. Maybe holy water, I don't know. Alright, and we're gonna go this way, and general rule of thumb, you can skip 1 room. So I'm probably going to skip this one unless scouting tells me that there's something valuable in there. Alright. Decorative urn. Let's see how a torch does. Well, let's try holy water. And it worked.
Hacks laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Okay, we've discovered another curio interaction. Maybe a slow process, but we're learning! Oh yay, accusation. That is
The
good.
abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
That did a lot of stress quickly. Well, cry havoc! And let the dogs of war reduce everyone's stress by a few points. Let's see. If it bleeds. Of course you would use Rend for the old gods. Ah, my favorite ability, Miss for the old gods. I'm actually going to stun the madman because I don't want to take too much stress damage. Right, and you use Solemnity, your stress level is getting dangerously high. And Cry Havoc again. which only worked on yourself. Yeah, we kind of beat the odds there a little bit. Ooh, there's only bleeding a little bit. Alright. And I'm actually going to use Iron Swan and see if we can take out the Acolyte. Or at least wear down the Acolyte. And Dazzling Light can't reach her, but Judgment can finish off the Madman.
Continue the onslaught.
I'm really not used to Judgment.
Them all.
I'm really not used to Judgment being able to cause that much damage. I actually have a Vestal who can inflict meaningful damage on the enemy. I am really enjoying how often Revenge for the Old Gods has been missing lately. Alright, I can easily finish her off with Iron Swan. Or Hound's Harry, probably. Yep. That'll take care of her. And let's go with Chop. Ho 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 ho!
A faint hope blossoms.
The leper may miss more often than I'd like, but when he hits, he hits! Also, I mean, his accuracy has still been consistently better than the accuracy of the cultist brawlers. They've missed more often than they've hit in this fight. And Wicked Hack. And Chop.
Destroyed.
Honestly, maybe I should have just used Adrenaline Rush, seeing as the
Remind yourself that overconfidence
leper
is a
could have
slow
finished
and
her off in one
insidious
hit.
killer.
Her? I just refer to the cultist brawler as her. Anyway, the I haven't used a leper in a while. I'm not used to just how hard they can hit when they hit. Alright, nothing in here, but we have successful scouting. What do we have down here? One curio, and that's about the size of it, so I'm gonna keep going this way. Alright.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
We fought in the East Gallery, filled with portraits of our ancient lineage, uncaring witnesses to the slaughter. Al-Hazred, the fiery heartbeat of our retinue, wrought keen havoc in our enemy's ranks. I keenly feel his absence, even as I remember voiding myself upon seeing his lifeless body fall, blood pouring from his screaming mouth, some cruel knife having rent his lungs to gore. Yet we were victorious, and thus press on. Well, sometimes even if you lose somebody, you gotta keep going. And this is interesting. I always find it a little amusing when enemies that
As
seem
the
to be
light gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
when
and
enemies
purpose is made clear.
seem to be part of different factions, for lack of a better word, are in groups together. So, like, it seems a little weird to me, honestly, that okay, one more Iron Swan and he's out. It seems a little weird to me that the skeletons and the cultists are actually in a team together. Let's see, I think I can finish the brawler off with Judgment. I can!
Surges as the enemy
Like, there's like a mutual non-aggression pact between the cultists and the undead. In fact, can we form one of those? Can we have teams that include skeletons and have skeleton heroes? That would actually be really helpful.
lapse in concentration.
This is gonna hurt. It did. Well, one more Iron Swan and we're at least rid of the Aura Blast. We don't have to
Their
deal with the
formation
quarrel.
is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Just Dazzling Light on the Defender. Oh, we're gonna have to deal with Eldritch Pull. Please fail.
Reeling.
It did, good.
About to break.
And Solemnity. And you may wonder why I used Target Whistle. Hound's Rush is why.
Annihilated.
Right. And since Dazzling Light is out, Divine Comfort and Rope for critical heal.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch.
Well, it did
of
restore
battle.
everyone's health at least. And Wicked Hack. Yeah, I'm not risking, let's see. I'm actually going to use Cry Havoc and then finish him off with Chop. Or at least attempt to finish him off with Chop. Yep, that could have caused stun or knockback, but it didn't. Operative word being attempt to finish him off with Chop. Well, at least one other of my heroes should get a turn before the Bone Defender does, and that was a very successful Cry Havoc.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Ooh,
As
lots of
victories
heirlooms.
mount, so too will resistance.
What to drop? Honestly, I'm dropping the journal page. And wait a second. These are 375 gold each, so about 1,200 gold, meaning 4 jade is actually more than a single full stack of gold. So I think we're going to drop a stack of gold and a journal page to take the heirlooms. Okay. Yeah, I know the answer to this one is a skeleton key, but the main issue is that will just give us stuff we don't have the inventory space to carry.
Watch your step.
So I'm going to go to the end of this hallway first and see if that causes us to use up supply items. You know, the stress levels are getting a little high. I'm actually going to make camp. We have enough food to
Gathered
feast.
close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Right. And Sanctuary. Or alternatively, I could use Hound's Watch, which they use the same number of time units. Hound's Watch has other useful effects, whereas Sanctuary is useful if someone already has a mortality debuff. So Hound's Watch. Alright. And let's use I'm gonna use Therapy Dog on all companions. Let's see, you have Reject the Gods, which reduces your own stress but increases everyone else's. Battle Trance, or Pep Talk. I'm actually going to have Emery use Pep Talk on the Vestal, because her stress level is a little high. And then, let's see, do I want to, yeah, I think I'll have, from the last time unit, I'm going to use Battle Trance to power up the, Hellion.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
And now we go back, and now that we have 2 additional empty inventory spaces, I can grab more loot. The Vestal's mental state is worrying me a little bit, but everybody else is doing well at least.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Right. And now backtracking. Fortunately, there isn't too much of it. Just back into the hallway. This whole wing of the dungeon really didn't have a whole lot in it. Yep. And this was, I think, a curio interaction I couldn't figure out. I got nothing. I have no idea what I could do with that. And room battle with treasure. I'm clicking on... I'm not in the room. I think I am. Once again, I am a professional. Allegedly. Alright, now I can actually click on this room. Yeah, I managed to get lost even though I have a map with a thing that marks my exact location. Alright. And unfortunately the journal page is staying behind, but it's also one we've already seen, talking about returning with Cuthbert's banner and Bolin's crossbow. And another instance of the cultists and the skeletons teaming up. Oh, start off with target whistle, because on the next turn I should be able to finish off the ow. Oh, Iron Swan. I am tired of being hit with Quarrel. Because we do have to deal with Stressful Incantation, but only once. And Dazzling Light on... Let's go with the Brawler, he does more damage. And Chop, also on the Brawler. And we repeat the usual questions about how it is possible to miss someone who is stunned. And of course, Stressful Incantation on the most stressed hero. Well, let's put an end to that, shall we? Okay, let's try not to miss this time. There we go. If it bleeds, won't do me any good, but Wicked Hack will. Well, could have. And since you weren't stunned last turn, you're going to be stunned this turn. And his total stun resistance is 75%. I can still stun him. And I'm actually just going to use Cry Havoc, because even if the leper can't finish it off next turn, I can finish it off with Judgment. The Vestal's mental state.
This momentum. Push on to the task's end.
The Vestal is still getting a little high on the stress, though.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
I think these items are staying behind. And we're going to take the long way around, which leaves us with our first trap. Oh. Fortunately, the Houndmaster is pretty good at disarming those. I haven't tried holy water on this. Oh, anti-venom, now bandages. Nope, no effect for any of those. Oh. And right in front of me is the thing indicating that medicinal herbs actually have a positive interaction with this.
Wealth beyond measure.
Once again, I am
awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Once again, I am a professional. Alright. Here we go. Ooh, a free torch.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
I think that actually is even funnier than wealth beyond measure. A fortune waiting to be lit. Well, we got a curio in here. I wonder what it's going to be. We also haven't encountered a single obstacle yet. Though I know that as soon as I drop any of the shovels, we're going to encounter one.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
I'm just going to light the last torch and take the rubies. It's a bit of a risk, but we were going to run out of torches in a couple of rounds at most anyway. Now we're just going to have to rely on Dazzling Light unless we find torches as loot. Speak of the devil! And that's another one we have seen that I just wasn't able to carry back. I'm going to drop the anti-venom. You know what, I'm going to drop the dog treats. We haven't gotten a huge amount of mileage out of those. I want to take that journal page because I'm tired of seeing it around here. So I'm just going to take it back with us so that it can be saved and stop reappearing. Ooh, Bone Courtiers. That means we get to see our favorite attack, Tempting Goblet. Well, start with Target Whistle on the Courtier. I can hit the Acolyte with Iron Swan. I cannot hit the Courtier with Iron Swan. Well, it's going to take one more hit to put the Acolyte down. I'm actually going to use Chop on the Rabble because Chop can definitely kill the Rabble.
Pit.
Right, Dazzling Light on the Courtier. Oh, it missed anyway. But yep, looks like Tempting Goblet is going to happen. Looks like the Vestal's Resolve is probably going to be tested. The Leper, I can prevent that using Solemnity. Alright, and Iron Swan. And Iron Miss! Oh yay, Eldritch Pull. And it worked, too. You move yourself forward one, Owen. Things have started going poorly. Well, this one I can do. Finish off the Courtier.
Another abomination.
There we go.
Cleansed from our lands.
Dazzling Light on the Brawler. Yeah, it is a near certainty that the Vestal's Resolve will be tested. Well, I'm actually going to use Chop on the kills. It doesn't, but I think I can finish him off with Hound's Rush. I can! And that just leaves Iron Swan to finish the job. There we go.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
We are near the end of this quest. I may be wrong about the Vestal's Resolve being tested. Unfortunately, yeah, the Hellion has no good way of targeting the Bone Courtier. Let's use Hound's Harry. Okay, that's one of the let's see if we can stun the Courtier. That's one of the Cultist Brawlers out of the way, and you use Solemnity. Because the reduced stress is something you really need. And the one attack the enemy actually gets this turn, and it fails to inflict bleeding, and then he dies.
That cuts on its own.
Tempting Goblet on the target that is the least a problem for me. Alright. See if we can inflict more damage on the Brawler. And see if we can stun the Brawler. And Solemnity again. It's unlikely that I will get to do this, but I would like to be able to bring Bowen on the next mission. And let's see if we can finish off the Bone Court here. We can. Just barely, but we can. And Cry Havoc. And Adrenaline Rush. And Divine Comfort. And he bleeds to death.
Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
And that is how we do that. I believe this next room is going to be the end of the quest, too. I may have to go all the way to the end. I'm not sure whether I can skip one room or two. And that's the end of the quest. Well, let's return to the hamlet.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
And we got a moderate amount of money. Not as much as some of our more successful quests, but we also got a good supply of heirlooms. And considering the fact that it was such a low level mission, Alright, and we got some new quirks. Demonomania. Believes is possessed by demons. And Last Gasp. And Bowen is obsessed with food. And Emery receives extra stress healing the brothel, and is afraid of enclosed spaces. Right.
I was lord of this place before the crows and rats made it their domain.
Alright. Well, let's put some people in some stress treatment. Okay, Tardif will only flagellate for stress relief. Well, why don't you do that? Let's see about Damour. Okay, so Damour will only transept for stress relief. Well, let's get her into the transept then. And yeah, Bowen, since I'm planning on taking on the I'm actually kind of torn. I kind of want to send him. Nah, I'm not taking him against the Inchoate Flesh with his stress level that high. I'm gonna have him get treatment. I can put together an at least viable team against that boss now. The first thing that involves is checking out Rord's abilities. Alright. Let's upgrade Wicked Hack and Iron Swan. And let's see, upgrading Adrenaline Rush will increase the damage buff that it grants, so let's do that. And Breakthrough. Let's see. And let's look at upgrading Emery's abilities. If I were to upgrade, yeah, if I were to upgrade Hound's Harry, that would actually increase the magnitude of the bleeding damage that it inflicts. That's good. Let's see. Target Whistle is just generally a good ability, as is Cry Havoc. And let's look into upgrading people's equipment. Particularly, I want to upgrade Roar's weapon. And seeing as she spends a lot of time at close range, let's upgrade her armor. As for Emery, let's upgrade at least his weapon. And who else? Traley is probably coming on this mission. Let's upgrade her armor again. But that really, I think, is the end of spending money, since I want to provision us fairly thoroughly if we're taking on a boss. Though, before we begin our assault on the Inchoate Flesh, which will hopefully be successful this time, I am going to get us a fresh recording file. I will be back in a moment.
Once, our estate was the envy of this land.
Alright, I am back, and I am going to take on the Inchoate Flesh. Especially since it'll get us the Holy Orders. So who all is coming with us? Let's see. The front runner is going to have to be the Hellion. Traley is going to be our medic, and I'm going to place Emery in mid-front. I'm going to give up Target Whistle for Blackjack. I may change that back when we take on the boss, because I'm not really convinced stunning the boss would be terribly useful. And we're also bringing Tornaville, which is the reason why I was upgrading his abilities. Now, I'm going to quick unequip all trinkets. And let's outfit the team. Start with the Vestal, who's arguably the simplest. Let's see. Sacred Scroll, plus 33% healing and reduced stress. And then Tome of Holy Healing with a further plus 25%. Alright, now for the Plague Doctor. Let's see. Book of Constitution could be useful. The Blasphemous Vial could be useful, but he's only resolved level 1 and we're going into a very stressful environment, so I'm not entirely sure. The Focus Ring wouldn't help him at all. Let's see. Recovery Charm is a no. The Solar Bracer would really be meaningless for him. I think I'm actually going to go with the Blasphemous Vial, and I'm going to pair that with the Hero's Ring. I'm taking a bit of a risk that I'm just kind of gambling that if the plus 25% stress does become a problem, it will be balanced out by the increased virtue chance. This could come back to bite me. And now for the Houndmaster. Right. I could have sworn I had a cudgel weight somewhere. I must have lost that one when another hero died. So I think the Book of Constitution might be my best bet for him. As well as I may as well give him one of the health stones. And now for the Hellion. I'm fairly certain that the Inchoate Flesh is considered Eldritch, so plus 25% damage to Eldritch could be very good, even if it reduces her dodge. And to balance out reduced dodge, I'm going to give her the Heavy Boots to increase her prot to 20%. Alright, I think that this is a viable team. We're taking a bit of a risk, but risk is kind of what this game is about. Well, let's do this. Definitely need a fairly large amount of both anti-venom and bandages. Handful of shovels. Handful of skeleton keys. I'm actually going to provision us with food and torches before I worry about relic or curio interactions, because honestly, my primary concern is simply defeating the Inchoate Flesh. If we accomplish nothing else in this mission, but we accomplish that, that will satisfy me. I don't need 5. 3 would probably be good, though. Alright, we are provisioned. Let's begin.
My zeal for blood rituals and summoning rites had begun to ebb, as each attempt invariably brought only failure and disappointment. Progress was halting, and the rapidly accumulating surplus of wasted flesh had become burdensome.
The thing is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
That is quite ominous. Okay, I'm gonna try going around the outside first and see if I can get scouting that will tell me where the boss is. Alright. And stashed heirlooms. We got a portrait. This is a bit meatier of a hallway battle than we usually get. Well, I really should have equipped the, I can't remember the name of the ability that, I don't actually have on this hero. Oops. Well, let's use Incision. I was thinking of Noxious Vapors as the ability I really should have equipped. Let's see if I can finish this thing off with Judgment. Well, it's effectively dead. And let's blackjack the Swine Chopper just to keep him from harming us. Let's see. If it bleeds, inflicts 2 points for 3 rounds. Wicked Hack. Can't hit the Swine Wretch. Well, the Wretch gets to live for this turn. I'm actually going to go with if it bleeds. Which means we have to deal with Vomit, but seeing as we have Adrenaline Rush, that's not that bad.
For death.
Doesn't cure disease, though. Let's use Incision again. And he's now bleeding for 4 points of damage. Well, Hound's Harry should do the job. Yeah, now he's bleeding from more hit points than he has. I like to do that to enemies.
Slowly,
Because then that happens.
gently. This is how a life is taken.
And Wicked Hack should finish the job. There we go. 8 crests.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
That is a certainty if I've ever heard of one. But 8 crests just for a hallway battle? Wow, that's abnormal. Oh, that's not good. Well, that could have been worse. It denied me the chance to use holy water, but otherwise we're okay. Oh, critical vomit. That's unfortunate. Oh, plague grenade. I do kind of like the fact that between Adrenaline Rush and Battlefield Medicine, I have a lot of options for removing damage over time. I'm gonna Hounds Rush one of the Carrion Eaters, and that is exactly what I was hoping for. Now let's Wicked Hack the other one.
Decimated.
Ha! I really like the Hellions' ability to inflict damage. And I could heal, but I'm gonna go with Dazzling Light. Burn in the holy flame. And at this point, we can kill that wretch with basically anything. Oh, he's in the wrong position for Cry Havoc.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Well, in that case, let's replace Cry Havoc with Target Whistle. It's not ideal, but he can at least use it in that position, I think. Yep, he can use Target Whistle from anywhere. We have had a lot of successful scouting this mission. This is good. I find it hard to complain about.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
Yeah, unlike the torch, I'd say it's fair to call even a single portrait a fortune. Okay, no successful scouting, so we could be entering the room with the boss now. I suppose the odds of that increase the more rooms are confirmed not to have the boss.
Squirming.
Indeed we have.
Ever expanding. This horror must be unmade.
Okay, fortunately it's 2 hearts despite the fact that it's at full health. That is good for me. Okay, yeah, they all have different prot values. Undulating invasion. Bad touch! Bad touch!
Clarified in a single strike.
And he's blighted. Yeah, he's blighted for enough to put him at death's door. Well, step 1, anti-venom. Step 2, since all 4 pieces of the Inchoate Flesh attacked, they can't attack again until the next round, so I'm actually using Plague Grenade.
Masterfully executed.
Yeah, it did 0 damage because the thing has high prot, but that doesn't really matter. And now, if it bleeds on this part of the flesh... And now, Hound's Harry on every part of the flesh, and they're all bleeding. And now I can use Divine Grace to get him off of death's door. There's kind of an advantage to the enemy getting all of their turns before we do. I mean, there's definitely also a disadvantage to that, as we are witnessing at this very moment.
Precipice of oblivion.
Okay, since he could otherwise die, I'm going to use Battlefield Medicine to remove Light and Bleed and get him off of death's door. As tempting as it is to use Plague Grenade again, I probably shouldn't. But I am going to keep stacking bleeding damage to make it take more and more damage per round. Finally decided to target someone other than the Plague Doctor. And going to be another Bone Zephyr. I'm really focused on the Hellion. And Divine Grace again. Stunning the flesh is largely meaningless as far as I can tell, since I don't know what ability a particular piece will have next turn. See, it took 8, and it restored how much? 7. It actually lost hit points during that round. And it lost hit points again! Okay, so this is... So, with 3 of its 4 parts attempting to heal itself, it still managed to end that round with fewer hit points than it had when it started. And Plague Grenade to blight it for even more damage per round. And now we have to deal with Maws of Life. Well, I brought bandages, and I brought Hound's Harry. If you can inflict bleeding, so can I. But now is one of those times where I think I want to use Wicked Hack, because the heart portion of the flesh has 0 protection. I don't know, maybe I should have gone with If It Bleeds. And Divine Comfort. But yeah, this seems to be the best way to deal with the flesh. Just accumulate as much damage over time as you can. Since each part is tied to the overall health of the whole. Ow. Goes down to 10 hit points, though this will restore some. Once again, it lost hit points on that interaction. Let's see if I can kill it. Well, depending on which part gets the next turn, I may have just ended this boss fight. If one of the parts that's blighted... Yep!
Grotesque in death, as it was in life. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
And I'm definitely keeping all of this loot. We can afford to drop the dog treats at this point, considering the fact that I only really needed them for the flesh, and then I forgot to use them. But, let's see, what else can we drop? Well, everybody is substantially damaged, so I'm just going to eat until we've depleted this stack of food. I'm also going to drop my 1 bandage, because we still have 5 more. I thought a stack of bandages maxed out at 6. Okay, now that would just leave me trying to get rid of 1 item. We have scouted the vast majority of this area and found no obstacles. I'm going to drop the shovels. However, things are going well enough for us that I'm going to push my luck a little bit. And make camp.
A moment
Feast.
of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Alright. And Sanctuary.
A momentary abatement.
And it also we did actually benefit because of the, Alright, Therapy Dog. And now we're at the point where only the Houndmaster and the, and I'm going to encourage the Vestal. Only the Houndmaster and the Vestal even have stress. And chant. I don't think anyone in this team is religious except the Vestal herself, but I'm going to chant on the Houndmaster to reduce his stress a bit. And let's rest.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And that is how you kill a pulsating mass of flesh and eldritch horror. That is how we do that. It's important to know that. Though this is beginning to worry me just how crazy things are going to end up getting by the end of this. I had to say it. I had to say we haven't encountered any obstacles yet, and that caused this to happen. Well, since this room is empty, all I'm giving up is 1 curio and 1 hallway battle by turning north instead of east. Okay, let him. Ooh, evasive. That's a pretty good quirk for a Plague Doctor to have. And Swine Wretch, and probable disease infection. And increased stress, too. It would be nice to end this with everyone having low enough stress that I can send them out again, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. And let's see, she probably can't kill this one with Wicked Hack, but she can finish this one off. And that's what I get for underestimating the Hellion. She could have taken it out. And you should be able to finish this one off.
Their formation
You can.
is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Gonna have to deal with Vomit one more time, though. Okay, she resisted the disease. That's good. And he's now blighted for 8 damage per round, so I don't even need to bother with attacking him anymore.
Soothed. Sedated.
So I may as well just use healing abilities in the hopes of getting critical healing and reducing stress until he gets his turn and dies! It's like the modern version of the stun method, where I just kind of wait until an enemy dies of whatever damage or time I've inflicted on them, and while they're in the process of dying, I heal them. It's also amusing that I'm primarily inflicting damage over time on enemies here, if it bleeds. Oh, drums of debilitation. Friend for the old gods, which I believe deals extra damage to Mark, though I might be wrong. I'm actually going to use Hound's Harry, because that's enough for him to be guaranteed to die of bleeding damage. Ow. That's bad. That's very, very bad.
The end approaches.
Well, Divine Grace will fix you right up. Gotta love those healing trinkets. And more Plague Grenade, because no matter how much poison you have, you always have more.
Unforeseen.
And rounds like that are why I like damage over time.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Now let's bandage up his damage. And Hound's Rush. And I'm just gonna go with Divine Comfort. And that just leaves us with the Hellion, who can finish him off with Wicked Hack.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
I am really liking the Hellion's damage output. I am liking it a lot. My end. I scrawled this, victim of cruel fortune who took me up on my wager, for I have lost my lucky coin, and I now lie helpless as my blood flows swiftly from my ruined body. My fingers are cold. It was no trap, nor raving cultist that sealed my fate. We were ambushed by strange, undulating shapes, 2 small entities that I cannot hope to describe, and a third, much larger beast. Poor Moira was crushed into pulp as Therion defended her. He soon lost his arm and his wits left him. Shambler! Shambler! He kept shrieking as Raven yanked him to flee. I tried to play hero, to buy them a few moments, blew away one of the smaller monsters. Last shot, then smashed into the wall. The big one. Maybe they made it out. Well, let's see. What to drop? Because I definitely want to keep the journal page. I'll drop the extra stack of torches to keep the journal page. And... nope, there's nothing good we can get out of an interaction with that. So... ooh, more successful scouting. Room battle with treasure. So it's this room, and then this room, and then this room, and then we'll have done everything of value in here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Had we used the medicinal herbs, we could have done more cannibalism for fun and profit. Yeah, it's curious is the reason why he does that. I may need to remove that quirk. I mean, it hasn't caused me too much trouble, but it has caused me some trouble. Alright. And Plague Grenade. Let's see, I could use If It Bleed. I'm actually going to use Iron Swan because I really want this guy dead. Alright. That takes care of that. Dazzling Light on one of the Carrion Eaters. And Blackjack on one of the Carrion Eaters. Let's see if we can stun... Well, we can only stun one of them.
The onslaught.
So, but still, only half of their party actually gets to do anything this turn. Of course, that could turn out to be enough on its own. Well, let's continue with Plague Grenade. Alright. And how's Harry? I'm in a distributed damage mood, it seems. And finish one of them off with Wicked Hack. Divine Comfort, because everyone's taking a little bit of damage. And I'm actually going to use Battlefield Medicine. Can cure the Blight and restore some hit points. And okay, it's targeting a different person with Munch this time. It would have been pretty funny if it had used Munch and taken away the hit points he restored with Battlefield Medicine and blighted him again. It's like he just can't catch a break.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Sacrificial Stone. Didn't think that would have an effect. Against my better judgment, Torch. Medicinal herbs? Well, we have an excess of antivenom, I may as well try it. Nope, we got nothing. We've tried all of them, none of them worked. Well, now we have a trap, followed by a room battle with treasure. And we disarmed the trap. And here, bandages. Gold and food, and we actually have the capacity for both, so I don't need to drop something. Ooh, yay, spiders. And of course it opens up with spit before we get to do anything. Well, spiders are fast. We're gonna focus on the front, so...
Back to the pit.
I wasn't really expecting that to work that well. And of course the luck had to balance itself out. Well, let's see if I can kill the other weapon.
Another one falls.
Okay, the Hellion is marked, which is a bit of a problem. Because of that. Well, would have been a problem if Bite hadn't missed, but... well, it's nice to know that luck is favoring me a bit this time. Alright, let's see if we can get that incision result again. Nope, it's only... actually, we pretty much can. The bleeding damage will finish it off. And Wicked Hack. And Wicked Miss. Oh, Judgment. I was not expecting it to miss. I was expecting it not to kill the enemy.
Executed with impunity.
Okay, I can live without the Jade. Okay, 2 portraits and 4 crests is more than we can afford to leave behind. Holy Water has given us no real help so far. And... bit of a risk, but I'm dropping the bandages because we have multiple combat abilities to cure bleeding. And 1,000 gold, most of which we can't carry. Well, this time I'm actually dropping the extra food because, well, the odds of encountering hunger during this hallway are rather slim.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
And here we go. Oh, he's bulimic now. So, I didn't realize eating disorders were contagious. That's new. Alright, Plague Grenade. I'm actually going to use Target Whistle on the Swine Chopper. And Wicked Hack on the Carrion Eater. And another one bites the dust. Actually going to use Dazzling Light. The Chopper is probably the biggest threat, so I want him gone as quickly as possible and stunned for as long as he stays around. The Plague Doctor can take care of these two pretty effectively. And that will be the end of him. Divine Comfort.
Soothed. Sedated.
And Plague Grenade. They're both blighted. Actually, no. The Swine Drummer still gets to live. Let's correct that. Finally, the Swine Drummer is as dead as he was meant to be.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
We can afford to miss out on the food. Unlocked Strongbox has a curio interaction, but it's not any of the items it's not the skeleton key, it's not any of those. Well, it's probably not anti-venom, but let's try it. And I'll drop the one skeleton key to get the citrine. And I'd say we've found everything worthwhile in here. Let's head back. And we found more holy orders. I need to equip those to a Crusader at some point. I'm honestly a little surprised we only got about 5,425 gold. Yes, about exactly 5,425 gold. Though that plus the 4,500 and a ton of heirlooms is quite nice. Things are finally starting to look up. I wonder what's going to happen to undo that. And we have another Resolve level 3 hero. Emery is a quick draw, increased speed on the first round. That could be useful, especially with Target Whistle. Okay, Tornaville's Lazy Eye, that could be a serious problem. Warren's Tactician is good, though. Automatonophobia, which increases your stress against humans. Wouldn't stress against humans be hominophobia? Like, humans are not automatons. Humans are humans. Oh, who knows?
Life. The greatest treasure of all.
That's quite a surprise. I actually got a second... Clarinel is alive. I actually got a second hero back. Wow, I was not... I assumed I would get that once and that would be the end of it and it would never happen again. But here we are with a second hero back from the dead. Unfortunately, our... that's not what I was trying to do. Unfortunately, we're full, so we're going to need to kick somebody out. Who to give up? I think I'm actually going to give up Tardif. He's kind of redundant with Sword of All in terms of abilities and in terms of level. Never mind, he has hard skin. I'm not giving him up. I think I'll give up Pippery. I'm not very good at using the Abomination class, so I think I'll dismiss him. And yeah,
the task ahead is terrible, and weakness cannot be tolerated.
Yeah, the one I'm bringing back is Clarinel, no question. I am going to need to use some, when I can afford it, I should probably remove some of her negative quirks, but... Why is it not letting me take her back? one of these, why won't it? This is really weird. It's not letting me click and drag her into the. Shift click maybe? Control click? What? Suppose I close out of this, and then reopen it. Okay,
He
so
goes with a keen eye. Gold gleams like a dagger's point.
alright, it says she has a hemophilia, reduced bleed resistance. So I guess I have to, I guess I just needed to close out of that because it was kind of stuck or something. Well, let's pop over to the sanitarium. And let's treat some diseases. Alright, and Emery. Part of the reason why I kept the grave robber is because we only have one other grave robber in the entire expedition, and that one is resolve level 0, whereas we have a couple of Houndmasters. The other reason is because I got kind of attached to Clarinella, so I'm honestly really glad that she's back. Let's see. Other than that, we have some heirlooms we should probably spend. Wow, we are not even close to being able to upgrade the guild, other than, I suppose, the training regiment. Let's see about the blacksmith. Closer, but so let's see about upgrading the stagecoach. I could get experienced recruits. I would need to trade a few things out. But I could also get training regimen to reduce the cost of upgrading skills. I think we're going to get training regimen first. Trade away a few deeds for portraits. I need 3 portraits. Alright. And
Every
reduce.
creature has a weakness. The wise hero trains for what he will face.
Yep, reduce the cost of training a little bit. And now I'm going to see if I can also upgrade experienced recruits. I need how many more? I need 4 busts total to be able to do that. Let's see. If I were to trade 3 deeds, I could get 2. And let's look into giving up crests. If I were to trade 12 crests, I would still have 18, which is more than I need. So I'll do that. And then I can get experienced recruits again, and occasionally get resolve level 2. However, to get the highest level of experienced recruits, I need to upgrade the blacksmith guild a bit more. But that really is all of the upgrading that we can do. And I've finally had my revenge against the Inchoate Flesh and been reunited with an old friend who has a disease that still needs to be treated. And is going to need to be retrained a little bit in order to be back up to full power. Though it feels good to lay down, Clarinel. Well, I believe you've probably been doing that for a long time, where you were. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time when we see if we can return Clarinel to our former glory. See you then.